Alright guys, let's take a look at this Doxa Sub 300T, but right away you can tell it's a little different than most Doxa that you see. This was lent in by my buddy Chris over at the Watch Lounge, and this is, well, most Doxa, when you really look at them, are limited edition ones. They'll usually do like runs of 1,000, maybe sometimes less. This one's no different. This was a limited run. It was a 35th anniversary limited edition run of 1,000 watches, and I think they were released in 2002, probably late 2002, because I have some letters here. We'll go over those, and there's some dates on them. But right away you can see the integrated lug part here that almost kind of looks like a link. That's actual part of the case. I mean, it's all part of the case. And the only thing you could do is either this bracelet, or I'm not sure if it was extra or included because Chris doesn't have it. They also offered a rubber strap that could mount right in here, and that would work as well. But this bracelet is so different than anything I have ever had to on the channel here. I mean, you can see the center links are like all curved, concaved, or whatever you want to call it. These links are kind of normal, but then there's the gap in between. The clasp is a pretty standard Doxa clasp with the dive extension. But you can tell it would be nice to see more bracelets like this. It's going to be nice and breathable, and for getting wet and drying off easier. It's all going to have those characteristics. Before we get into some other details on it, I want to talk about the size, because it is a turtle or a cushion case. I don't want to say turtle, but us Seiko guys kind of say that. But it is basically, if I can get a good clean measurement here, it's kind of hard to do on this. It's just over 43 mil, so like 43.2 mil. Now the lug to lug is going to be a little tricky to measure, because I mean it's like 59 mil if you go all the way, like 59 and a half if you go all the way out. But you got that nice arch and it turns all the way down, so I don't know. You got to take that into consideration. And we're not going to do a lug width, but we can do a height on this guy. It has like a flat sapphire crystal. It's like 14, just under 14 and a half. So it does have the ETA 2824. So you're going to be able to wind and hack and all that stuff. I did notice on this one, the crown has a little bit of wobble. Well, quite a bit of wobble to it. So I don't know if that's something that can be doctored up a bit, or if it's fine. I'm not really sure. But the operation of it feels fine. The bezel action, 120 click. I think no one can really win an argument saying that the Doxa bezel action is bad. Like, it is what you would hope all dive watches to be. And then especially the way they scallop the bezel, if you look, it's definitely geared towards traction, no matter if your hands are wet or gloved or whatever the circumstances are. This thing is going to get traction. You're going to be able to set that bezel no problem. So you can see it has the decompression and all that stuff on it. A little bit different than the traditional dive bezels that we're used to seeing, but it still has those features, but then it also has some extra features for people that dive. I don't dive, many of you don't, but it's still cool. So nice, brilliant orange dial that doesn't seem to have any fade on it, even though this is a used watch from 2002-ish, right in there. But you can see it's just beautiful. On the back side, you have the Jenny logo, the limited edition, number 284 of 1000, so it is numbered, and then the reference number. So let's give you a wrist shot on this, and then we'll look at the paperwork, and then we'll do a lume shot. I was wearing my new G-Shock MTG today, but this Doxa, even though the lug to lug on it is like crazy long, because of the integration of it, it doesn't feel like it. I mean, it feels like it's all just part of bracelet. So it wears just like a regular Doxa would, and that bracelet is pretty slick. I mean, it feels balanced, but like nice and airy, like you think it would by looking at it. So very nice bracelet. So it's kind of a treat being able to check this out. Big thanks to Chris for lending this in. Even the chamber it comes in is much thicker, I think, than the ones I've had in the past. It's pretty beastly. And this one actually still has the screwdrivers. It seems like those always get swiped or broken or lost. This one still has it. So let's take a look at this paperwork here, because there's some information. So this is documentation proving, well, I don't think you really need proof. I don't think these are faked, but the date. So it was the beginning of 2003, so January. So I think they were kind of released at the end of 2002. The reference number actually even has a signature here. I'm not really sure. I think somebody said that is the actual, I could be wrong, because there's another signature. It's like the same thing at the bottom of this one, the certificate, and that's the 35th anniversary. But I don't know if that's the signature of Dr. Clive Cussler. I don't know if anybody knows. I'm not really sure what the signature is. So, but it gives you all the information, the dial layout. Reissue of 2002 was manufactured to the same specifications of the original model of 1967. So that's why it looks kind of vintage, because it's a exact reissue, maintaining its unique and timeless design of the late 60s and early 70s. So extremely cool watch to have on the channel. And there's another piece of equipment or document here just saying how to operate it, and it's an automatic watch and all that good stuff. So very cool that the paperwork is still with it. And big thanks, like I said, big thanks to Chris for lending this guy in, because I didn't even know this one existed. I thought they all were like more like the, the 300, the 1200, and the on up the line. So let's take a lume shot here, and then I'll close you guys out with that. Still holds really good lume, as you would expect from Doxa. I mean, it's not Seiko bright, but it's going to last, and that's just what you need. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next vid.